Welcome everybody, this is Rex Red. I am back with another awesome DAZ 3D tutorial. This is EZ3DTV, and we're gonna work on lighting today, so it's gonna be a fun thing. We're doing, this is kind of part 2 on lighting, and I promise at some point we will go into working with exporting figures to Blender, but for now, this is what the plan is today. It's just, I got so much into lighting the last tutorial that I thought, let's just really do like a symposium with lighting. I just purchased a product here, and it should be in my smart content. And let's see what this all looks like. Bring this down a little, bring that up a little. And let's see, okay. Yeah, I would just want to make sure that my audio is correct so we can, so now this has got to come down a little more, little closer to me. All right. So I just purchased a new product, and it is here. It's a Noir product. Now, in order to make your scene black and white just immediately, to turn your scene black and white, highest products were first. We're going to go to install date recent first, and that should give us the products that I have just installed. Lowkey lighting, don't know why we don't get an image for that. Clan Warpack, that's cool. Vendetta, wet sandstone walls. We have, and then this VDB effects, which is cool. These are the latest things that I've purchased. Finally got this outfit and some Pure Tears. I'm going to make my Genesis 9 figures cry. Okay, they haven't cried in a long time, and it's about time they let it all out. Okay, all their frustrations. We got a neon subway vignette, buzz cut hair. Okay, that's going to be a cool thing to check out and see how that looks on our figures. Okay, as you can see, and who was it? Art, where are you? Art. Guess what I purchased? The White Palace. This was, you know, as you well know, it's like 150 bucks. I told you I wasn't going to buy it until it was like 20 bucks. And I think that's about, I don't even think I paid 20 bucks for this. But this White Palace is something else. Massive white Palace, $129, and I got it for less than 20 bucks. Yeah, I told you I will buy that, but it will be, and look at all the different rooms in this thing. The whole palace is decked right out with rooms. Yeah, see, what I didn't really like about, and I think this might be a Jefferson product, no, PW. What I didn't really care is that everything looks so straight, you know. It's just the plants and all look like it's you know, it's not it's the artist, the one who put this together. Even here, everything just looks so kind of straight, and it doesn't look but you know, the thing is that there's so much work that went into this piece. So you can just imagine they were just really, look at the detail up in here, and just all of this elegance and all here, just massive decadence decor. It's just really amazing. Every room is completely we got a piano with this, you know, and it's like, to me, all right, I look at a scene like this and I say, what's worth 20 bucks to it? It's like, the piano, maybe these chandeliers, they're worth $20. You know, put them together, and then everything else you get in this scene is free. You know, after that, you get nice bedding, you get a lot of wall art. Then you get curtains, so you can put them up in any scene that you have. Some plants. These plants look really good. Yeah, you got a little TV here. It's kind of a little far away from the bed. Look at the brass fixtures you get. So yeah, you have to buy things on sale. This is kind of nice. I like the subdued lighting here. This blue room is beautiful. Look at the big couch you get. We could have a bunch of Daz figures sitting around the couch. That would be cool. Or a big banquet dinner with like 10 figures in there. That's when I do that kind of stuff. That's when I run out of RAM. Believe it or not, 22 gigs is not very much. And so there it is. So this, the White Palace, is now part of my arsenal of stuff. And what is that? Some kind of really strange little creature. Some more art hangings. You could just put these in any scene. Bathroom. The bathrooms are nice. Just very classy looking bathroom and tub. So, yeah, very nice. Look, another bedroom. It's just this, the inside is decked right out. Roses. I'm always needing roses. So, yeah, I don't know that white roses here. Just really nice wine glasses and stuff. And speaking of wine glasses, I need a drink of my water. If this isn't a big enough water container, I don't know what is. If I take a good gulp of this, then I should be set. Okay, look at this beautiful piece of art. We got red roses here. That same set, that's beautiful. The red roses are just absolutely a must for scene. So again, the roses, white roses, red roses, those are nice. You could make them any color. If you got them white, you can always make them yellow. This is cool, whatever that is. This is cool. See, all of this other stuff is extra because if you just figure the piano and the chandelier, you know, and everything else is just, look at this artwork here. Just beautiful imagery. All the stuff, all the artwork, speaker system here. This is cool. You could put this in the background of a scene. So I'm not going to put too much time, but I've just put a lot of time into this already. Look at this kind of like vaulted ceiling or something, I guess what that's called, arch ceiling. Beautiful right here. It's just incredibly grand is the word for this image. So yeah, there's probably more detail. It's a lot of times it's the particular view of everything. See, everything looks too straight here to me. Again, it's just, I don't know what it is, but it looks suspicious. So but inside you get some really nice stuff and the very wide angle camera lenses to pick up the whole rooms and all. But which kind of distort things. That's a nice image here. I don't know if I've seen that. I think I did see it, but okay, let me get out of here. I just thought I would let you know, Art, that I did purchase that now, and so there's some of that work. Maybe we could do some work on that coming up. So, all right, what we're going to do is we're going to put a figure in the scene, and we're going to start messing around with these. It says complex lighting arrays, and that's what we're going to do is we're going to find, I have like probably every lighting array that Daz sells, okay? And we're going to just go from product to product to product, and we're going to check out these lighting arrays so we can together get a consensus of what lighting really is. And these lighting arrays really help us to, my gosh, seeing how far my hand goes over before it gets cut out. I mean, I could fix that, but I kind of like being zoomed in for for a change. Okay, so let's see what we have here. So first we need to put a figure in the scene. So let's go to a figure. We're going to pick another figure today. I think we're going to pick somebody that I don't have to kind of fuss with their body shape. Oh, and remember I had, in the last video, I had a problem with the abs on the figure where I couldn't seem to get them to look right. Normals, okay? These were the normals on the abs, okay? I needed to go to the normal map and drop that down quite a bit, and suddenly it was fixed. So keep that in mind. The normals, the normal maps help define the abs and give like some bumps, some actual bumps to the chest and not just a bunch of textures. So, or shape, it gives actual, you know, creases in the skin. So keep that in mind when you're working with Nathan, was it? That you have to go in and, if you want to get rid of that kind of really kind of massively grotesque muscular gym-shaped body, you have to, all right, we're going to, Ethan it was, Nathan. Let's use Nathan today. If I can find him, there he is, Nathan 9, figure. We're just going to go with the, why not use the HD? We're just going to be putting a bunch of lights in here. We might as well make him look the best we can. So, yeah. So, yep. Here we go. So yeah, the lights, we're going to be messing with like lots of light sets. In the end, welcome people, welcome. Thank you for coming in. I have my new lens for my camera today, so I kind of look like you can actually see really what I look like, rather than having my other camera obscure my view. So yeah, this is me. Hello. All right, so we're going back here. We're about to put Nathan into the scene. Yes. Here he is, and let's give him some pants. We'll, instead of just putting on my normal shorts, it's kind of easier, but we'll find some pants. I'd like to maybe towards the end of this make a noir scene, okay? And if you think about it, Canadian tuxedo pants. Let's try this. We just got to get something on him. Those work? Okay. I was thinking about, you know, that Sin City kind of effect where everything in the scene is noir except red. And so you'll have like a red dress and then everything else is black and white. I want to try and create that effect, okay? And that's going to be towards the end of this video. I may not get to it because we have a lot of lighting scenes, lighting stuff that we need to kind of cover, like tons of it. I'm going to try to go through every lighting set, and so that we can find those complex arrays of lights that are like a bunch of lights around the scene, and see and study them and see what they're made up of, so that yes, as I think it was Ed said that Ed Berlin, I think, said that that once you kind of get lights, that kind of things. I listen to my fans and I listen to my subscribers. I listen to you people. that you kind of get the gist of it, and you can just kind of make your own, and you can. And that's what we're going to try to do, is get the gist of it, okay? So that from these light sets, let them be a teaching experience to us so that, you know, we can get the lights. And, you know, the thing is, instead of just putting a light in the scene, why not put an array of lights in the scene and then change each one to what you like, okay? It might make things a little easier to do than just have the lights. So let's put a shirt on him. What's this shirt here? Does it fit well with his pants? No, why didn't that? Okay, Z, I think that's a texture for the pants. Okay, that's why there says pants here, shirt. Shirt. And stripe shirt. Let's try, no, let's go with this. And we'll give him some hair. Do we want him to look good? Okay. And we'll have to do some mesh grabber here. We're going to put him in a pose before we do any mesh grabber. No, that shirt just doesn't look right on him. Intimates V-neck. Let's do something a little less casual. What about this Guardian shirt? We'll try something, and maybe we'll find something that I don't have to do a ton of. Yeah, that looks like it tucked right in. It's kind of casual, but it looks like it actually fits him as a style. So now I could go with a belt and all. I'm not going to mess with this too much. And hair, let's give him some hair. We want him to look good under the lights, okay? And I'm going to dial his face down a little bit. Hair. Hair, hair, hair. Let's go with this hair. That doesn't show up well in Iray. It's kind of, you have to render it to make it look right. We're going to do something that works with Iray. With it right out of the box, kind of so to speak. And Xander hair looks good in Iray. It just does its thing. We'll have to make it darker, probably brown. And we'll okay. So yes, the lens came today, and I'm very pleased with the way this lens looks now on my stream. Okay, now we got to make this hair. We got to go to the, okay, back here. We got to make the hair a little brown hair. Back to products, materials. Where, okay. Oh, we have to select the hair. Scalp. Materials. Oh, that's Nathan. We need Xander. And we're going to go to materials. I think that should come up anyway. Materials. No, it didn't. All right, turn this off. Xander, Z-A-N-D-E-R. Why are you giving me such trouble finding you? Default, there we go. And we go with, this is black, we want a dark brown. Dark brown, that's hair gray, we don't want gray. Welcome. It's taking its time with this. We're gonna go with a dark brown. I didn't want a chocolate, like kind of like a reddish brown. I wanted kind of like a blackish brown. Probably should go with black, but I'm doing this because his eyebrows are kind of brown, and they've got to match his eyebrows. That's too dark, reddish. Okay, just brown. This is possibly what? Dark brown. That's what we want. We'll see. Okay, this is what we want, is dark brown. I hope I don't have to mess with this too much. And I guess that's good. Now what we're going to do is we're going to dial his face down a little bit. He's looking a little pecked around the edges. I guess I don't know if that's the right word. Peaked. Head. We're going to bring his head down towards the Genesis 8. He looks just a little bit kind of rough. Okay, there we go. And let's get him into a pose. The lighting is horrible here, so we're going to save this. Nathan in the light. See how I do this? Just like these things pop right in my head when I need them. My creativity is overflowing. Nathan in the light. Just like, boom, it's always right there. All right, so I think I want to do his hair black. So if I'm going to go back here, we're going to go with the black hair. Okay, I think that'll look good under the light. To have a little contrast, to have the black hair. We should probably be doing this with the new Omni hair, excuse me. But, we'll see. We shall see. We shall see. It's Saturday night. Where is everybody? They're all out having a good time. And let's see. Art is probably working in his garden. Let's see now. We need now to... that is another Xander character. And, all right, Nathan, we need to give you a pose so you don't look stiff, my friend. And by function, we're going to go to files. It's easier to pick them separately here. Poses. And by function, and we're going to go to standing. And down we go there towards the bottom here. Somewhere in here, we'll get him a nice pose. Presenting. Well, that just worked, but this isn't quite the... I think we something from the front on. Now this is hands together. No, it's I don't usually like to use my poses where the characters' hands are in fists, okay? Because it makes them seem kind of mean, you know. Just an observation, to think about. Mirror, selfies, holding a phone. How about this? I've probably used this like a million times, but I think this is the same pose we used for... All right. His pants look kind of weird, like I need to pull them down, the top down a little bit, because they're just kind of in the wrong place. So let's look and see what else we have for poses. I'm not sure why, like, all of my standing poses should be here, and they're not. Like, all of the Genesis 8 poses, and... Okay, here we go. Let's do this. That is probably not going to work. I think that's a Genesis 8 pose. Well, he's got his hand in a fist here, but no, Z, don't like that. Let's see. Stand. Let's see what else we can find here. I think these are all Genesis 9 poses. Here we go. is. I think I like this. All right, well, what we do, remember, we got to keep him in from the front. So what we're going to do is spin him around and see what he looks like. He's probably, his fingers are going right through his legs, but let's see, we can kind of mess with that. It's not easy fixing that. I'm wondering if I might do better doing something like this where I don't have to deal with the fingers. And then we got the fist thing going on again. So we're going to have to change the fist here. Front. No, let's see what else we have. Something tough. These are fists too, I think. Those eyes are in a really weird position there. Where are all of my poses? They're just not here. I have to go back through, and it's just showing Genesis 9. It's as if I have this filter by context selected, and I don't. They're just not showing up here. How about this? Okay, that works. It's all right. So we got him here. Okay. That is Nathan. All right, and okay, the pants are bothering me, so I'm going to do something, because it's just they come up too high to his belly button. It's like they're like all over covering his belly button. It's like men don't usually wear their pants like that unless something's kind of a little bit messed up with it. I don't think Canadians do either. Just a thought. Pants. P-A-N-T-S. Pants. And let's go to default. We'll find some pants here. Here we go. Pants. Wardrobe. Okay. I just put them on top of the wrong thing. Z. Genesis 9. Are these Genesis 9 pants is the question. Yeah, they are. Let's see what happens when we turn off the Canadian tuxedo pants. Yeah, I think I like that better. So we turn them off. We get rid of that. We got a little bit of a poke through here, but we can kind of mess with this stuff. Boots. Let's kind of get, so he's in a nice, so he's kind of framed for our thing here. Okay. These Nathan boots. Okay, we're going to go, what are they? Genesis 8 male. See how this works. Auto fit. Outfit boots. UM. Outfit boots. Welcome. Art is here. Welcome, Art. We have yes, a contemplative pose, Angus. We do. He's thinking and speculating. Okay, we're going to save this. We're going to zoom in and see about, we got to fix this little bit of poke through there because that will bother me incessantly. And then we're going to put a camera in the scene. Always lock the camera. It just saves you from having to fix it when you've moved it 10 times and realize, oh, I moved my camera instead of the perspective. So we're going to leave that little part showing here. It's kind of sexy, I guess I can say that. All right, we're going to zoom in on him here, and we're going to fix this part first. Okay, notice how really cool the textures are here on these products. The DAZ artists are so amazing. They really, really, really are. Okay, so you don't hesitate. You just go to your tool settings, go to Mesh Grabber, click on the shirt, the Guardian shirt, click on it here, pull this out a little bit like that. And I'm going to have to make this a little smaller, 3. And we're going to pull that out a little bit more. And I think we've got it. No, just a little more here. We got that to do. We got to do this. All right, let's zoom in a little closer here. So we got to go now down to 2. And there, almost. We're in Iray doing this, by the way. Okay, I don't think we can see that from a distance. Now we're going to go down here. We got to figure out if the boots are actually the pants, and I knew there were going to be a problem here. So we're going to go here with the pants. Where are the pants? The pants. We're going to go back to 5. 5 is usually a good starting place for Mesh Grabber. We're going to just pull that out like that. And like this. And I think we got a little speck here. Got another little speck there. And we got another speck here, I think. It's weird how that pulled that out. And I don't think I got this. There's that. Okay, let's go around the back. The back looks, no, we got some spots here. Like that. And like this. Okay, he's ready to pose. Now, oh, we got another spot here. I didn't check that. My mom used to call these holidays. Well, when you paint, you know, and you miss a little speck, that was a holiday, but I call these holidays. When you miss a speck, you know, it's a holiday. Your mind was on a holiday or something. Okay, now these pants here, I want to check and just make sure, see, because it's kind of important that we don't end up with like sharp edges on the pants. So let's just take a look and see what our parameters, pants, sub D level is. Let's go up to 2. All right. Currently used, I guess those would be here. Sub D level is 2, render sub D is 2, okay, level is 1. I'm not going to go all the way up on that. We got them on high resolution. That's probably enough. Okay, now we're going to go back to our camera view. Let's save this. We got it, and see his hair looks weird. That's because we're in Mesh Grabber, okay. That brings his hair back a little bit. And now the hair, I'm not liking it too much, so, but, all right, I think it's okay. So what we're going to work on today is lighting arrays. And I know that's what we worked on the last time, but the thing is, it's such a massive subject. And what I kind of got in, I got into the rim lights last time, and we went into the HDRI lights. Now I'd like to go into like lighting arrays and I know I've got them somewhere. And then towards the end of this video, we're going to work with noir, okay? Is making our scene noir. Because if you remember the Sin City movies, where the technique of filming everything in black and white kind of, but every once in a while you'd see like a woman with a red dress, or her eyes would be green or something, and her hair would actually be blonde instead of black and white. Things like that, or the skin tones would come out, okay? So let's kind of delve into that and see if we can learn how to, maybe through canvases, and we can all put our brains together, our minds together, and see if we can figure out how to make things noir, okay? How to go into this noir thing, but be able to just like put their sneakers and make their sneakers red, okay? Where everything else is noir. That kind of thing, that effect, because when you make something noir, you just go into the environment mapper and turn down the saturation, and you got film noir. Now, but then once the saturation is turned down, everything is noir. How do you differentiate and say, well, I don't want everything noir, I just want it noir, but then I want this to stay red, or, you know, that kind of thing. So that is what we're gonna try. You know, it's like, I don't know how to do that. But if I go into this, and if I put some effort into it and we put our brains together, we might be able to figure this out through canvases, maybe doing something in Photoshop. I'm not sure exactly, but let's kind of mess with. So the first part of this video is going to be just going again, like we did last time, through light sets. I might put the Infinity Cove in here, okay? Let's go look for Cove. We'll go back here. So we have a nice backdrop, Cove. All right, remember the first thing that I told you in the last video when we first kind of started out is that you have to get control of your lights, which means in order to get control of your lights, you have to make your scene. Okay, we're going to save this. I think I just did. You have to get your scene black. Pitch black, okay? So that's part one. So we're gonna first look for the Infinity Cove, and here it is. We'll put that in the scene. Now look at this. This is a very large Infinity Cove. I don't know where I just got that. Low key, that might be brand new. Okay, and I don't know why it's curved like this. This is kind of odd. But we have another Infinity Cove. Now he's in the Infinity Cove. He's standing smack dab in the center. I have my camera locked. So we're going to mess with some lights. Now we're pretty much ready. We're going to save this again. We'll select the Infinity Cove here. And it's down at the bottom here. And we're going to select materials to go into materials maybe here. Where are the materials? I don't know if we'll find some materials for the Cove in here. No. But maybe if we click the Smart Content, Filter by Content, it would be nice if the artist singled out some materials. Let's get rid of the word Cove and see if we can get some Cove materials. Yeah, they're here. Background. Look at these. They're cool. Let's see what this one is. I like this one. It's got a little bit of darkness in it. Yeah, but it's got that banding in it, which I don't care for. All right, we'll go with this because we're going to be doing some lighting. Now, what I'm going to do, because these light sets weren't made for this, we're going to push the Infinity Cove back as far as we can so that just until it comes out of the scene, it covers our scene, so that there's enough room for the lights, okay? All right, so what's this background look like? Let's just check this one. Oh, let's go with this one. How about this background? That's kind of mod. Here, let's see this one. This one's really nice too. I think we'll go with this one. It matches his skin tone. It's going to be changed a lot. Let's see now what we have. All right, now I'm gonna purposefully omit using the noir lighting, okay? Because we're gonna go towards the end of this video. We're gonna go probably into that with more depth, okay? And so we are here. Control alternate minus, and what have we got in our scene? We got Nathan in the Infinity Cove. Now I could put these together. It just gives them the Infinity Cove and our figure. We're gonna call this Nathan and Cove. All right. It just gives me a little bit more room here because who knows how many lights we're going to end up in here. And let's pull this down just a tiny bit to give us a little bit more room to be creative in this little spot here. Okay, so we're going to go into lights and see what we have. Now, I've done stuff. Now, see, we have these noir lights. They're not, all of my light sets are not coming up here. And okay, so what we're going to do is unclick Nathan in the Cove, and we're also going to click filter by context off, and now we have, I think, also light sets. We're going to explore, I think, like I said towards the beginning of this video, I believe I have every light set that Daz sells. There are some 3D light, I even bought 3D light sets way back in the beginning. I didn't know they didn't work with Iray. So I ended up with a bunch of them that, okay. Lights, gels, okay, now we've worked a ton. We have God rays, okay? And this epic God ray volumetric light for Iray, it takes me about an hour to get this to work. But once you do, it's pretty cool, okay? We got rim lights for Iray. Okay, and then we have cinematic light effects. Now this one, I think we should go plus atmosphere. I think we should probably drop into this one because this is a massive mammoth setup. Okay, light sets. Let's just see what, okay, this says lights. It says, I don't want to put an atmosphere in here yet. Let's put load first, environment setup. Okay, it's just saying load next. Okay. All right, so it wants to change. Now that's what I was telling you. See this environment setup? You have to get control of the light. So we're going to try this. We're going to listen to it. But of course, it went black. Why not? Then it says load next. And this is the cinematic. Which is adding some kind of atmosphere to, it's still black. And what we have to do now is add, okay, cinematic light effects, boom light. Let's try this. It's the next one. Okay. Now what it's done is put some kind of plane in here. I'm not sure that I like that. So let's see. Cinematic atmosphere, dome. Where is the plane? Where's the plane? Boom light controller, okay. 9. Let's go out of here. What is going on here? Parameters, perspective view. Okay, maybe it's because this Infinity Cove might be going down below our... Okay, let's try this. Now go back to the work camera. Go back here. It was like 1 pixel off. Yeah, and it was down below. Oh, it might be down below our... They might be using some kind of HDRI ground plane, okay, and bringing the Infinity Cove up +1, or at least a certain amount up, so his feet aren't going through it. Just brought the cove up above the ground plane. Now, I'm not too big on this atmospheric effect, but we can just hide it, okay? Now, this is nice lighting, okay, so let's get rid of it. And let's try this cinematic light now and see what happens. Now, I think we might have to, yeah, I believe what we have to do is turn off our Infinity Cove to get the full effect of this. Isn't that strange? It just went away when I turned off the Infinity Cove. And all right, let's take this out again and put it back in with the Infinity Cove turned off. Maybe I have to go out and in to get rid of the Infinity Cove. Sometimes things don't turn off. We're going to see what this is. Now, these lights, okay, are absolutely fantastic kind of creations of light. They're kind of aberrations of lights. And it seems as though we've, okay. All right, I turned off the cinematic light controller, atmosphere dome. Let's turn that back on. Okay, here we go. So this is something. Now it gives us all of these different aspects. This is the projector. This is another projector. So we have two projectors here, which we should be able to look through. Yeah, and these are not going to show us much, that they're very complex. It's like you'll never figure this out by looking at this through the projector, because like, what is it? Okay, and this is another projector. But what we do is we go to our perspective view, we select the projector, and then we come here. Let's go into out of Iray. Turn on L. Well, I guess that doesn't work, really. The light's not lighting it up. But as you can see, we have the projector going through a gobo. And if we select this, it calls it gel. Okay, so this is interesting. And that would be the same thing for this gel. We go to this projector here. It seems as though these projectors are both in the same place, maybe. We have two projectors. And this appears to be, okay, this is a sphere that is it's a hidden sphere. And that sphere, which I actually turned back on, so, but what it is it's a look at point. So you can change this so that your projector will move with it. So now let's see what happens. We go back to the camera and go into this. Now we just divided off our projectors. You see that? Isn't that cool? We bring one down maybe. Now it's moving. Okay, that's not what Z? Yeah, that's okay. Can't turn the camera, so let's go back to the projector view. And it's hidden so they've done some kind of trick, and when it goes into Iray, it's hidden. And when we zoom out and we move this, we should see this light turn. Now it's moving the light on a plane. I think in order to, maybe we'd have to select the projector and rotate that maybe, and that might, let's go back into Iray. That might actually rotate no, it doesn't. So it doesn't rotate the point. We do this and it rotates our light. See, what I kind of wanted to do was rotate the point by selecting this and then rotate the point up or down. And, but I guess this works. So you rotate the light and then you move the point where you want it. Like that. So Then we go back here to our camera and see what this looks like in Iray. It's AI. I love the whitewash look. Oh, great. The white palace. Okay, I'm just making sure that I've read this. So then we can go in. Can we add another light like this cinematic light from the front? Yeah. See, so now what we have, this is the kind of scene where you really need to allow the scene to what would you call it again? Reticulate I think is the word that I use. Awesome art, awesome, awesome, awesome. Yeah, this isn't, looks like there's like a little star filter or something going on here, action, that looks kind of cool too. And now what we can do is, what I'm gonna do is, we're gonna try mixing the best of both worlds here because we can. And that's why we do it. And we're gonna turn off this dome atmosphere. And for some reason, we lose the light, okay? It's just gone. It seems as though it's still there, but is it? That's the question we're going to now find out by adding I wish we could add products to these things here and just say, I'd like to add the rim light, this cinematic atmosphere. When you right click, you see it doesn't say group product, I guess. Maybe, I'm not sure how you would do this. 1 star, group products, asset, explore more info, browse to folder, show product in content library. And I didn't know you could do that. Maybe you can do that also with stuff in your content library. Right click and show it in the content. It's like, hello, it's already there. So, but that'd be really nice to be able to group that. So what we're going to do is we're going to now try to substitute, because this projector, I mean, not the projector, the atmosphere dome is like it's like atmosphere. It's like a uniform particle field of little teeny specks of dust kind of thing, okay? But we want smoke. We don't want like atmosphere. We want smoke. You know, we want swirly, something that has something called turbulence, okay? And these atmosphere domes don't have turbulence, at least that I know of. They have, and that's what really sets them apart from a VDB, because a VDB has turbulence, okay? It has, and that turbulence can have a lot of branch off kind of things, like you have smoke, you have fire, you have steam, you have different kinds of turbulence. Okay, so VDB, and we go here. Let's grab our poof again. I love this particular product is my go-to. I need to start using other products. Let's put this in. What happens? Yeah, see, it kind of works here. It gives us, okay, let's get rid of this. Let's try something else, the fog puffs. They're a little bit dense for this light. These lights are not really responding to this. It's responding to the front light. Okay, we turn this light off. We might have to turn our projectors up more. It's not doing the same thing to this VDB that it was doing to, we turn this off, the fog puffs, and we go to our cinematic dome, and it's like night and day, the difference that it's doing with this dome. And you do have to wait until it reticulates, and then this is going to look really, 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 really nice. And I assume you can go into the gel, okay, this gel, and surfaces. And we have this first color here. Let's make this green. And we could take this second color. I think there's a second color here. I don't know where it's getting the red from. Maybe it's from the Infinity Cove and back. We can take this gel here and make this one red. And I think maybe blue on this one instead of the gel. Blue. And remember, when you go dark with a color like that, then you have to raise the intensity up, because a dark color requires more intensity than a light color. And we go to the gel. Let's go down here, and we have now, we'd have to go to the projector and parameters to raise up the illumines to make it brighter. So let's go to here. And you see, that's what you kind of have to do with a blue to make it brighter. And we would do the same with the projector for the red. But let's just go up 1 because the red's a little bit lighter. And you see, I only went up 1 with the red. Notice how much more brighter it is. You see, that's the thing. Now, let's take this boom light controller, and let's see what we have for parameters on that. On the boom light controller, we have to drop this down. I think there's our boom light. It's probably just mostly a spotlight. And so we'll go to warm it up a little bit. Yeah. So this is pretty nice now. Yeah. So we have, all right, so let's save this as Nathan in the light. File, save. And we're going to call this now file save as scene in the one. In Nathan in the light 1. So we can just kind of alter it and change it, start over, do something different. Okay, that's what this is about. It's about, you know, oh, that's looking great to stand out. Yeah, it does. There's something very nice about this, and we could do something with this Infinity Cove and possibly end up with, and if you notice now, you can see the louvers in this little, it's called gel. Okay, it's not theoretically a gel, okay, because a gel is a colored film, okay, and this is more like a louvered geometry, like it's a geometry with little holes in it, okay. It's a mesh with a an overlay, to be really precise. Okay, so we turn on the puffs just in case, just to see maybe they'll work in tandem with it. And let's see, go back to Iray, and maybe if we turn the puff way down, we can get a little bit of a layering effect with them. Okay, the puff is on. Now we have a different kind of thing going on here. And if I am parched again. Parched. I'm sorry, I have to drink something. Water break, everyone. All right, so we're gonna go here, we're gonna go here. And I can't really tell if this is on or not, but I assume it is. So we get both. I'm really not happy with the way the Infinity Cove. Oh, I have the Infinity Cove turned off. This is when we turn it back on. Apparently, we lost our red light. Maybe the Infinity Cove doesn't go back far enough. So if I take and go into parameters, we could take this Infinity Cove and scale it some. There we go. That should bring our red light back in. And let's make the Infinity Cove black. Surfaces, matte black. Surfaces, presets, all files. Come on. Default. Shaders. And we're going to go matte, matte, black matte. Oh, that did work, but I'm not sure why it did, because I do have it selected. All right. That just gave us a little bit more of a, I kind of like this now better, so we're going to go and save as. I like this a little better than the other one, so we're going to go save as, so I can save as scene, and we'll just call this Nathan in the light, and it's going to ask if I want to replace it. Yes. Okay, and then we'll go File, Save As, Scene, in the light 1. Yes, so we're back to Nathan in the light 1. Except this looks pretty cool. So, all right. Everything goes except Nathan in this Infinity Cove, okay? And we start back over, all over again. Back to black. And then we go back to our smart content, back here, back to light sets. Make sure that's all default. Light sets, VDB can go. And let's see what let's go back to the cinematic light and see if there's anything we've missed. Okay, these are like helpers. So pretty much when you think of this is called cinematic light effects plus atmosphere. And it's like plus atmosphere. It's not like plus, it's compulsory atmosphere. Okay, let's see, I think I spelled that right. Okay, we have this high security corridor. Okay, cinematic light. Let's just put it all in there, light. Invisilights, okay. This is another thing. We got this, I just bought this today. We're gonna play with this Lowkey Noir lighting for Iray. Okay, here it is. All right, this right now is 60% off, okay? Again, we're back with Colm Jackson, all right? And so this is another light set. It's very nice. And you can do some really, really cool stuff with it. As you see, you have to use his atmosphere or else it doesn't seem to respond. 20 custom flare effects lights in a complete atmospheric environment. These gimbal-controlled lights will not only create spectacular light beams due to the detailed customization of the light with gels, masks, and geometry-based diffuser lenses. That's a big mouthful. These lights now have a center source. This means they can be pointed or angled towards the camera to produce lighting effects that are similar to what you see on the big screen. These are very nice. Also included is a gimbal-controlled Boone-style key light with 9 intense colors, 6 moody atmosphere colors, 12 effects light intensity presets, 14 effects lights position presets, and large and standard size light presets. Cinematic effects is Iray only, okay? So 15% light positions, large light preset, standard light preset, boom light, that was the, I guess is the, and boom light colors, atmospheric dome, cinematic environment setup preset, 6 atmosphere colors, okay, 30 texture maps. Now this is what I didn't see. Okay, so 30 texture maps, materials. Okay, these are not what I thought. Okay, let's render settings, cinematic environment, shaders. Okay, and we've got then the intensity of light sets, environments. Okay. So again, you go to this all files, you do this one first, that one second, and then you want to put your boom light in, and then you put in this, pretty simple. Let's do this, let's run through this again. The environment setup, and it's kind of interesting then to go into your environment and see what it did. It turned the atmosphere off. Let's see, what did he do to our environment? Parameters. And, oh, it's still dome and scene. Okay, draw dome is on. Okay, now what we want to do is, let's go back here. Let's do the atmosphere dome. Okay, so now our dome is in. Let's do the cinematic light boom. And then let's try this one. Okay, now that is very, very cool right there. So yes, we have something very cool here. So it's what, $6? $6? You probably get it for less than what I paid for it. $8, $8.30. Probably that's what I paid for it. I have, this is the 60% off sale if you have some tokens. So there you go. I wouldn't buy this yet, okay? Because we might run into some more products that you might want to buy, and if you have a bunch of tokens saved up, you don't want to use them all at once, and you also want to take some time, and maybe if you buy something new, that will drop another 10% off the price of this. It'll take something more off your cart. So this is very cool. We take and we leave we can just we need the atmosphere dome, and we need this. We can just delete that, and we can come in and try another thing here. I think that's the one we did. Let's try this light effect here. That's very subtle. Z, we'll turn it off. This one is very nice. And very nice. This is really, really showing. Okay, I deleted our boom light. Okay, it's nice how they both work together like that, and you just kind of have to wait until the scene reticulates. And this boom light is a little bit on the light side. I kind of like to go in, and it's not the controller, it's the light itself, and turn down the temperature a little bit, just a little bit, warm him up a bit. So we don't need it that cinematic. So, all right, that is, we're going to leave the Infinity Cove. We might need a backdrop, okay? So we're back in the dark, but we're not actually in the dark. Let's go and look at another light set now. So this is a cinematic light effects plus atmosphere. It's a very cool set. We did, I think, the rim lights, I think. Box light. Let's see what this is. Okay. All right. Ultra Genesis Studio Volume 1. Let's read what this is. Ultra Genesis Studio. Ultra Studio One. Ultra Genesis Studio One. We might need to have to put light in. Ultra Genesis Studio Volume 1. So that there might be a volume 2 here. Volume. Here it is. Oops. All right, let's look at some of the promo images to see what we get out of here. That's kind of, these are kind of dull looking. That's okay. There's a lot of nice shadow in there. That's way overblown. This is nice. This one here is nice. Okay. Let's see how that's kind of got some nice shadows there. Volume 1. So it's showing the effects of the light sets on these things. And, all right, mesh lights and mesh light presets. Okay, that's enough of that. Let's see, welcome to the first installment of Ultra Genesis. Who makes this? This is Daz Originals and Runtime DNA. 12 bright, 12 medium, 12 dark, box light rings, 4 standing, 4 bokeh, 4 portrait, 15 mesh lights, mesh box lights. So we have lights, we have mesh box lights, we have cameras, and render settings, high, medium, low, 12 HDR maps. Okay, so where are the maps? These are the high, medium, and low render settings. All files. Where? I don't see any maps here at all. Oh, okay. The maps are the lights. Okay, they're not like pictures. They're just light sets. Okay, volume 1. Mesh lights. Environments. These would be the HDR lights. We have to take the Infinity Cove out again. Okay, so there's one. These will just change the environment each time. So these are HDRI environments. That one's kind of nice in a way. You can rotate them because you have your rotation thing. Let's see. These are not incredibly, eye-popping so far. I've gone through almost all the HDR ones, and that one's kind of nice. They're just not sending these. The environment ones are just too subtle. So I'd say they're kind of things you could achieve very easily with any HDRI. It's just kind of, I think most HDRIs actually are nicer than for lighting than these are. They're all one color, so it's kind of, and this one has a lot of banding. That one's terrible. They're not very high bit. I don't know, what was the resolution of the HDR? It doesn't tell you. They're probably like 1024. I'm not sure. And this could be an older product. They don't give the dates on these products. It would be nice, Daz, if you gave us the dates of products. So, yeah, so not too impressed with just to be honest, this is just horrible. It's like I wouldn't, all that banding in there. I don't know if you can see the banding there, but it's declared a water break. Count me in. Be right back. That's cool. Yes, Hydrate, people, hydrate. These pink ones are really nice. I could see some use for those. The pink ones are nice. This little silhouette one with the glow, but you know, how can you use this? Look at all the banding. This is just unusable. So yeah, and for an HDRI, HDRIs are supposed to be like 10-bit. This one I don't see any banding in, so now there may be low res ones and high res ones, and they might be just because people maybe when this was sold didn't have really nice computers. So I would say what we have to do is get back, okay, camera close, camera ground, camera standing. We already have the cameras in. So let's, what we need to do is let's turn off the environment, the HDR, and see what these lights do, okay? We go back here. Let's get control of our scene, scene only. Why is the background still lit though? Scene only. Environment tint. Do we have an environment here? None. We must have a lighting. Okay, I think, no. Infinity Cove. Let's go out and go back in. Iray. Now there's even, oh, no, for some reason it's not like black. Tone mapper options. How do we set them back to default? Well, what's changed? Nothing's been changed in here. It's all, okay, how about in environment options? What's been changed? Ground reflectivity. I think this is reset value. And intensity. Okay, that didn't work. Environment tint. Black. Lighting resolution. Well, let's go with the tint back to white, I guess, and scene only. So what is this going on? Environment type, none. I'm not sure how to fix this. What has it done to my scene? Let's see, the scene, it's got to be in the tone mapper options or something, white point. Reset value. Tone mapping enable. So no, if I turn it off, it doesn't fix it. So it's got to be in these environment options. Visible in viewport. Ground, okay. Matte fog is off. Draw ground, we'll turn that off. Lighting blur. Okay, how do we reset our environment? Well, we could go back to that other lighting product here and just use the cinematic effects thing. That's how you reset it. Okay, very important. Okay, so now we're back to these light sets, and what we want to make sure is that we're doing the, I guess, the mesh lights. We have render settings. Okay, studio high, low, medium. Let's try these. We can always go back. Okay, this is high, low, medium. What's it changing here in our settings, parameters? Okay, dome scale multiplier. Okay, so this was a finite sphere. It's the dome radius and the scale multiplier. I have to get more, figure out more about this dome. Okay, now we go back to parameters. 500 and the scale is still at 1. Low. Parameters. 501. I don't see anything else changing here. So in this finite sphere, maybe I have to select something else, but medium settings back here, there's probably a render settings, high, medium, low. Oh, now I know what that means. Oh. Well, it means, okay, the ability to render in physically based environments. Okay, you know what I'm not seeing here. I'm not seeing. Yeah, okay, there's our word, Iray. Okay, welcome to the first installment of the box lights. So what is this all about? It's about light. With DAZ Studio's Iray rendering, we can now have the ability to render in physically based environments. Okay, but what does that mean? Well, it means that we can take lighting into the real world. With the correct tools and setups, we can replicate real-world lighting. In this volume of the studio, we will be exploring studio-style lighting with box lighting, light panels, reflectors, bounces, and more. The basis of this package is the mesh light. Okay, so in this volume, we'll be exploring studio-style lighting with box lighting, light panels. Okay, I see this box light rings, bokeh, portraits, mesh lights, dark, environments, dark, medium, bright. Okay, so that may be what, okay, environments, studio environment, bright. Okay, there we go. Oh, okay, now, all right, dark. Okay, so these are the environments. This is like very dark. Okay, that's not very dark, completely dark. This is probably dark. No? Do we get an actual black? What are they changing here to do this? And this is horrible. Again, we got banding, medium, bright, different kinds of studio environments. All right, let's go back. Let's figure this out. Okay, parameters. All right, here we go. In here, we got the dome on finite sphere, and they're putting this image on here. Well, let's check them out. Here are the images. Okay, let's see how big they are. Or I guess maybe if I just hover over them, it'll tell me, maybe. No, just the size, 128 kilobytes, which is not even a megabyte. Properties. Details, 120. So it doesn't even tell me the dimensions of the image. But we can figure that out. Open with. Photoshop. I'll say just once. I wish Windows would decide which Photoshop I need to use. It just keeps just juggling around parameters like inadvertently, abjectly. Okay, so this is one of the images. This looks pretty good in here, but we're not looking at it stretched around a... There's a little bit of banding here. Let's see what the size of this is now. Image size. 2000, it's 2K. So it's not even 4K. So this product's got to be really old. Let's see now, right click again. we're going to open with. So I'm still kind of on the fence about this product. I wouldn't dash right out and buy it, okay? Because 2K image, let's see, image size, 2K. But the thing is that you can just put your own HDRs in here. But what's the point, really? Okay, you can learn from their HDRs about making your own HDRs. Open with. I mean, so this is beautiful artwork here. It's just too small. And you know why? You can't fault them. It was way back when people barely had graphics cards that could even just load one of these. A lot of people probably bought this light set and were really bummed out that they couldn't even load one, you know, because it just used up all of their RAM. So yeah, but now that we can load it all, I'm not too impressed. Look at the banding sort of goes away at once it renders in a way, but not always. Certain angles you can see more of the banding than others. This, like, it seems to lower the quality when I move, and then it seems to pop in, but we're dealing with a 2K image. So, I mean, like I said, you can just put your own image in here and then utilize all of their lighting, the other lighting aspects of this product. So it's not that big of a deal. And then you can, once you put that in, you can just, now the banding is obviously very prominent here. You have to put your own images in here. So to make this product work, but then it does something really cool with the environment. Now we go here back to parameters, and what this is doing is jumping through these different HDR environments. Okay, so let's find one that kind of works. I'd like to get one that's as dark as possible. Okay, now look how horrible that banding is. It looks like there's steps. He's like standing around steps, and they're big steps. All right, so let's see what happens when we throw a mesh light into the scene. Okay, so this is kind of terrible because it's not even putting the mesh light where you would want it to go. Like, it's not pointing it like it as if there was a figure in here, but this looks actually pretty cool. It's a different kind of light. It's a mesh light. It's not a spotlight. It's, unless you make the spotlight wide. And so I would say we take this box here and we rotate it a little bit. Cancel. We go to rotate. We got to have it pointing a little bit on his face. And then we bring it down a bit like this. And that is a pretty nice light. So the lights here, there's nothing wrong with the lights. The lights are very nice, very, very good. We could put our Infinity Cove in here and just be done with it again. Files, default Cove. And not have to deal with their background. We could still have the HDR here. Yeah, so then we get rid of the banding. And now in this light set, the environment options. Okay, what we do, okay, we go to the perspective view. That didn't work. Okay, how do we, I forgot how to select the whole world here, but let's zoom out with this. Let's see how big this, I don't know that you can actually, yeah, I think you can actually, there's something weird about these finite spheres, okay? Because you have the infinite sphere and the finite sphere, but the finite sphere is still kind of as infinite as the now there's a way to select this sphere and zoom out to it. I've done this before. Now it's not letting me, it's just taking me to the center. Forgot how to zoom out. This is very nice. This light, it's a mesh light. It's not much, you know, there may be some value to this because it's a little different than your ghost light. It's just slightly different. There's just slight differences to these earlier products. They have just different things. Okay, so we're at the environment settings, and I know there's a way to zoom out and see this environment. Now we're going to go back to the floor. Select environment, camera, Nathan. Okay, so I'm not finding it. I think I've zoomed out before to see if I could see the entire environment because it's not infinite. There is, oh, I think what we do is we take the environment, we go into the parameters of the environment, and we make it much smaller. Where would be the scale multiplier? Let's dome radius, let's go 100. Okay, that's how you zoom out of the, how you get to see. Now, the thing is you would say, okay, well, if now that it's smaller, the image should lay around it and say, like, if you have a big moon in the sky and you put that image on this smaller circle, the moon will be smaller in your, no, it doesn't work like that. And that's what really was the hardest thing for me to wrap my head around was no, it's still a dome, it's still a sky dome. And so if I take a sky and put like a sky on this dome, or I put a sky on the infinite dome, the infinite sphere, I believe they kind of look the same. It looks like, let's do that. Let's just put an HDRI on this dome here. One that we can really kind of, one with a big, with some kind of sun, like a large, something that we can gauge and say, well, that's the size of the moon here. And then when we switch it to the finite sphere, it's going to have the same size moon, which is kind of weird. Let's see what this is. Okay, we have to make sure that I click the HDR and not the JPEG. Okay. All right. Now we go back to our camera view. Okay, I've gone blank. How do I go back to my camera view? Here. Okay. All right. Now let's get rid of this. Now we got to go back to the perspective view. Okay. We got to zoom back in. And if you notice now this sky, it didn't make that really any smaller, okay? I don't know how to explain the mathematics of this, but you'd think because the sphere is smaller, and if I were to take now and go back to this environment setting and go back to like dome multiplier 500, it's not really that much. It looks like more higher resolution, but it's not any smaller. You'd think if it was not that much bigger, it's not like gigantically bigger. And that's why, you know, like when you have a moon in the sky and you say in an HDRI and you say, I'd like that moon to be a little smaller, I'll try using the finite sphere and I'll put that HDRI on the finite sphere. And now I'll go back to 100 and it's a little smaller, but not like a lot smaller. Now if we go down to dome scale multiplier, let's see, we got this radius. It's 100, let's go to 20. And now it's just not incredibly, it's not like you would think. It's at 20 now. And if I zoom out of here, see, what I'm trying to show you is that there's some magic going on here with this. And it's not what it seems, okay? It's not going to give you, and this is 20, let's go to 1. And we just lost it all. Okay, so let's go to, we've been to 20, let's go to 10, and then suddenly it's like, it's still kind of just huge. And now if I put this image on a plane and turn the plane into an HDR, I can just shrink the plane down and make that sun whatever size I want and set it behind my scene, and there you go. It's done. But to try and use this, the finite sphere and the infinite sphere, if I just switch this, it's going to put this same image on the infinite sphere, and when I look around, it's kind of the same size. It's a little bigger, but not like where you would want to say, I want that to be tiny on the horizon. It's like, no, you're not going to get that using HDRIs. So HDRI is for lighting. You're making ambient light in your scene, and sometimes using the, but in order to get a really high quality sky from an HDRI is really best for taking your scene and creating a gradient light around your scene, okay? So one part of the sky is a little blue on that side, the other part is what is kind of green or red on the other side, and then you have this bright sun in the middle, and as you move that around, it moves the shadows, moves the bright spot, and it points it into the scene so that you get this gradient, like massive gradient colorization of your scene. It's really good for the light it puts off. But the actual image that you see from it is terrible because it's even if you go with a 16K image, because it's spread around such a large area, even a 16K HDRI is not very detailed. And that is why I always use a plane in the back of my scene for the sky. Because I can take that 16K image that's spread around this large area and put that on a little plane. Like here, we could take this same image, this Infinity Cove, all right, and put this HDR on it. And so we go to surfaces, and surfaces editor, and we go to our base color. Where's our HDR? This is, we got a few of them here. Which one is it? I have to go back to here, the environment. Parameters. I know I clicked on it. What's this called? It's called DTEC economy. All right, let's go back to our Infinity Cove, surfaces, Cove, DTEC. Okay, so we put this on here. And then we put this on our emission color, DTEC. It's the same image. It's the same huge, like 8K, 16K, whatever HDR that we're putting on here. We're going to change this to white so that it's an emissive. It's putting off light. And then we're going to also put this on the luminance. And we'll bring the luminance down, I guess, to 10 maybe. And then we go back to our camera. And this is probably one of the coolest lighting tricks that I have done in this entire session today. And now what we can do is go to our Infinity Cove and this vertical offset. Oops, I think I moved it too high. We can move it. Not only can we move it, but then we can take this horizontal offset. And what's cool about it, it shows up in texture shaded mode. So you can move this stuff around, vertical, horizontal offset. Okay, you can make it, you can go with the vertical tiles and you can make it smaller, larger. Okay, and then horizontal, vertical offset. And when you render your scene like really large, now see, that is really, that is a very massive texture here. We try putting some of those rim lights in here, maybe putting a rim light behind him. There's all kinds of cool stuff we can do here. But let's just take and move this up a little bit. I don't really care for the rim light it's doing in here. So we'll go with vertical offset. Okay, there we go. That's a little bit cooler there. Now, because this light, now if we go to our Infinity Cove, go to surfaces, and let's take a look at this base color here. And let's go and browse to that. Where is this? Oh my gosh, it's hidden in here. What's it called? This is called DTEC Economy 31. Okay. Sometimes this doesn't search. TEC underscore. Okay, this is it, but I have to find it here. Economy Sky 31, I think this is, okay. And let's right click on this. Wow, it's weird how it's right there. Okay, I'm kind of thinking it's probably not. I've got the number wrong, but open with Photoshop. Okay, and what we're going to find out is how big this is. Okay, now that does look like it. And let's go to the image size. Okay, this is 8K, all right? So we're talking about pixel real estate. And so when we close this down, let's do a render of this, parameters. and we're gonna do a quick render. I have two 3090s, so I can render like in 8K and get something kind of nice within about 3 minutes or 2 minutes, maybe not even that. So we'll go to general, we're at 8K, we're gonna go to progressive render. We're gonna drag this maximum samples over. Oh, sometimes it does that. It's really weird. It's like in middle and it maximum time and off. I don't know why. Oh, something's messed with our render settings. Okay, so now we're gonna click render. And why we're rendering this so large is so that we can see, because when you render it small, you can't see the detail of the sky behind him. It's because it's so small, it's just all kind of this like low quality, everything's low quality. But when you render it really large, like 8,000 by 8,000 or something, 8,000 by 4,000 or 5,000, then you can see what the background actually looks like, okay, in relation to your figure. And the reason why I say that is look at the detail kind of in his clothes and skin, okay? It's going to take probably, you know, I don't know, maybe an hour for this to turn like just creamy, smooth looking, and these little bits of, this is going to look so nice, and it looks like his eyebrows are the wrong color, but that's okay. This is what you see when you render something big, is you get to see whether if you really screwed something up, is whether if his feet are going through the floor, and they are, okay? So you get to see this stuff and fix your renders. You wouldn't see this if you rendered this at like 1920 by 1080. But you also get to see the detail in your background. And that is what's important, is seeing the detail in this background. And this is going to reticulate. All of these little dots will be gone. And what you will have is a surface that's as detailed as he is. Okay, because we've got it on this little Infinity Cove. It's all squished onto this, and we're able to set this Infinity Cove. And I didn't resize the Infinity Cove. So the Infinity Cove is just barely filling the camera space of the width of the camera. So, and if you look at the detail, and why would you work so hard on a scene and then put a sky in the background of it that is all like pixelated? Now what we're going to do is we're going to cancel this, because I will just tell you that this is going to render look like fire, like little bits, and all of this is going to render so beautifully. And there's a little bit of pixelation in the shadows here. This is all going to render like beautiful, creamy fire. Okay, so now we're going to go out of here. Would you like to cancel this render? Yes. Okay, and all we're going to do is turn off our plane, and we're going to render this with the HDRI in it as soon as it lets us. I'm going to save this because I want to render this down. I might make him a little bit redder. And remember, he is being lit by not only this overhead light, but he's also being lit by our HDRI. I didn't turn that off. Okay, I'm not going to save that. Now what we're going to do is, now you can have like an 8K HDRI that is not what that was made from an 8-bit source. And so it can have like horrible banding in it. But it's 8K, but it was sourced from an 8-bit source. You really want to make sure that your sky is generated from a 10-bit source, and then you won't have those color banding, any of that banding at all, And you'll have this big, if it's done like with a megapixel camera, nice, or with a bunch of pixels in it, like 8K pixels, and then you're going to have some massive detail in that image. And it will be the same way, because if you put it on this little teeny small Infinity Cove, you're taking that big 8K image and compressing it down into this little space and giving your image some really beautiful, 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 beautiful detail, okay? But if we turn, okay, I'm going to save this. And so I don't mess this up, we're going to now start a new file. New scene. No, we don't want a new scene. We want to just save the scene. File, save as, scene, Nathan in the night, Nathan in the light. This is going to be 2, Nathan in the light 2. Okay, so I can go back to that and render it. Okay, so now what we're going to do, just so I don't mess it up, okay, and now what we're going to do is turn off our Infinity Cove. And we have this HDR in the background. We're just going to render it, okay? Now, consider this HDR is stretched around this gigantic sphere, okay? And I believe it's stretched around what we stretched it around, what we would want to stretch this around, okay? But we're gonna get a chance to see. Now it's rendering, okay? Is what we have for, and notice this banding and all of this. This is not what you want in the background of your image. Look at this. Look at these lines and just terrible. So you want to use the HDR to put light onto your subjects, but you don't want to use the HDR as a backdrop of your scene, okay? Because it's just, I've made put so much, the DAZ artists have put so much work into the detail here of everything in this, the skin, and we put some hair on his arms a little bit. The hair textures, they put so much work into this for us to put the image, put an image behind it. And when it's like even brighter, I mean, you can look at this and you can see the pixelation in this. And this is an 8K HDR. You can go even with a 16K HDR. Angus, good night. Oh, you were saying good night to Art. I don't know if you're still Angus here, Angus friend. But I just noticed that good night, and I thought you might have been. I know it's getting late for you too. Oh, Angus, thank you for being here. Thank you. So very nice to have you here, friend. So all right. So this right here is just horrific, and for an 8K, and this HDR was probably made from a 10-bit source, but it's just it's terrible. And so then we'll go out of here, and I'm going to just show you what. Would you like to cancel this render? We're going to play, because remember we had that set. I think I set it to infinite. Yes, I did. So this is with an infinite sphere. What if we put this on a finite sphere? Okay, go back to our thing here, and we go to and like I said, well, you render it at HD, and it looks fine. But you're not going to find out how that really looks until you render it at like 8,000. And then you're going to say, oh my gosh, I've taken, why have all this detail in the clothing and in all that stuff in the hair if you're just going to put behind it this really kind of blurry, pixelated, color splotchy sky. Okay, so you want to put your HDRs on a plane and put it behind your scene. And you're going to get something like this. You're going to get something, and it's going to take a while for this to render. But I'll tell you right now, this is something else. This is going to render like a photograph, like this, like you will, and even if I rendered this at 10,000, you wouldn't see any of that banding or any of those kinds of issues with this. That is what we're talking about. We're talking about having some really, and it just wants to render. It's saying, I want to render, I want to render, I want to render, because, and it's just even in the viewport, it's trying to render, it's trying to say, trying to reticulate and get rid of all those little dots and turn into, you're going to see all these feathery little flames of fire, of clouds coming up in this. It's like night and day compared. And now we turn this Infinity Cove back off. Let's go back to the environment, and let's just try a couple of little tests with the environment parameters. Now we have an infinite sphere. Let's go back to our finite sphere. And then let's just give it some reasonable, like, let's go to 500, or let's go to 300 for a dome radius, okay? It doesn't look like it changed at all. Like, it doesn't look like it got smaller or bigger by that much, like an imperceptible kind of amount. So that's why I'm saying, all right, so, but we're at 300. Let's do a render, and I might be surprised if our map looks better than it did. Okay, so we just hit render. We're at 8,000 pixels. If it does look better, then that kind of tells you that if you really need to have a nice looking HDR at 8, and I don't think it can, because it's still got to spread all the way around the scene, and you're only getting a small section of the sky. And if you think about your skies, why you put an HDR and there's like one little kind of wispy cloud and that's all that's in the background, when I turned on that the Infinity Cove with that image on there, we got this massively detailed cloud that I could stretch and move and put or resize, make the sun smaller by making the image smaller. I can move that right where I want it and have this massively detailed cloudscape in behind the scene. So, and you can twist the sky, you can an HDRI sky, you can move it around, you can rotate it, but you can't resize it. You can't make it more condensed. That's the problem with an HDR, okay, is that. So we're at 512 now, and I'm going to say we're probably going to have that same, the same banding. I don't know if you can see this on your phone or on your computer, but what I see are these big, long, like banding lines. And you don't want, look at these, they're just ugly. Any photographer or artist is going to look at this, and they're going to instantly know that is banding. Okay, that's color banding. And why would you have, like I said, all of this beautiful detail in the shirt and in the arms? Like you can see the little pores in his arms. And then you got this color banding sky behind him that is just horrible. And there's a reason why. It's because you want the light from the HDR. You want that light to shine and create that gradient, that large gradient of color coming down on your scene. So you do want that. You want the HDR probably in your scene. You just want to put something behind your scene to cover up that part that's visible with something much, much more detailed, like another HDR, another 8K image with the sky there and showing. And see, this is why I do things the way I do. I've got like the itchiest nose right now in the world. This is why I do things the way that I do them, is because, in the course of making scenes, I've looked, and I always render my scenes at like 10,000, sometimes even 13,000 by like 13,000, just enormously large. And I was just shocked to look and see now let's do that. Let's cancel this. Let's render this really large, okay? So we can see the detail in this texture of his pants, and then see the detail behind him, okay? And this is going to bring this point home to you on, okay? So we're environment, like we're going to render settings. Where is, okay, I'm lost. Render settings. Okay, here we go. Okay, 500, okay? We're going to go 13,000 by 500 by 5,000. Okay, that's good. Oh, it won't let me. I have to switch this. Parameter settings. See, this is big enough. Use limits. Turn this off. Okay, 13500. Okay, the reason why I render things this large is because this size, 13,500, is the correct size to print one of your images on a duvet big enough for a master bed, okay, for the large size duvet. So you can, or a shower curtain, something really large, okay? And you need an image that big. If not, you'd have to stretch the image, and then by stretching it, you'd pixelate the image. And when you sell something to somebody that for a bedspread, and you make it in Dad's studio, you want as much detail in it because it's going to be large. They're going to be able to see all of that banding. Okay, so now we're going to render this. Okay, and we're going to look, now we're going to get to really see the difference between, say, his pants and the sky. And this is why I never use an HDR in the background. I use the HDR to light the scene, but I don't use it in my scene. I always put a plane with an HDR on it. And then I have ultimate control, okay? So now we're going to get down here and we're going to see, look at this, now we can see that even at 13,000, these jeans look great. They look amazing. But this sky in the background, and they get worse when you put like another kind of sky. Let's do that. Let's put like a something we can see a little bit better. Would you like to cancel this? You put a 4K sky in here. Oh my gosh! Would you like to cancel this render? Yes. And then we're talking about really gritty looking sky. So excuse me, I have to drink to hydrate again. Let's even with a 16K sky, it's not acceptable, okay? I'm going to tell you that. So we're going to go now back to our environment parameters. Let's find another environment. I have some saved, so I can just bring up that other one, Nathan 2, I think, and browse. Okay, let's find one that's lit up more that we can kind of see better. Maybe I'll find something that I know most of you have used, maybe. But I'm not going to try to do something that's like really terrible. Okay, these future city ones here, we need something bright so that we can really see. I think I've darkened the scene with that light set. Okay, remember we darkened everything? Okay, here's this. I don't know if I want to use this because I know that these ones have a little bit of a. They were probably done in an 8-bit, so I'm going to try to find something that I know was done in a higher bit rate. So at least to give it a chance. I'm not trying to force this issue. I'm trying to just reveal it, and that's the whole thing. Is let's see what we can find. Now, if I can find some of the, I know some of these, I wish they showed the details here. I think like some of these are those ones from the render Haven, and some of those were like 24-bit. Even at 24-bit, you're still stretching it around this massive sky. And at 24, even at 24K, 8K, we're gonna go. All right. Will some of these tell me how big they are? We'll find at least the 16. This is 24K, the Kloppenheimer. Let's see what we've got. I think I've just got to turn this environment map up a little bit, like to 1 here, and the environment intensity up to 1, and we should have it bright again. It's taking a while to load. This is a 24K image. And now we're going to take this and turn it to 1. And we'll turn this one to 1 as well, so we can bring the light up a bit to a reasonable amount. Okay, let's show us something. Show us something, Iray. Okay, let's go out of Iray and we'll come back in. I think it's still loading the map. Okay, we'll go out of Iray and come back in. What have we got? Just imagine a 24K file on that Infinity Cove, all scrunched into that small little area. Then you're talking about something gorgeous that competes with. All right, so this is a 24K render. Let's render it at 13,500 by 7,000. 13K. Okay, we're rendering a 13K image. Come on, where did you go? It's still going to be, you know, it's not going to have the definition. It's not going to have the kind of, see, look at this. This is horrible. Look at this. These trees are just blur. And the ground, the textures here. And what do? You come over here to your figure and detail versus blur. Okay, and I could take this same image, scrunch it down onto that Infinity Cove, and put that or onto just a plane, and put you know, the little farm and the markets and all the environment stuff and the chickens running in the yard and all that, and this on a plane behind it would look gorgeous, just absolutely gorgeous. But once you stretch this around your scene, it's unusable. You don't want to put this you don't want to ever use the HDRI in your scene. This is horrible, and you'll look at the sky. It's all splotchy. you know, it almost looks like skin, but no, this is skin, okay? This is what skin should look like, all right? Not that, okay? And so this is what we're talking about. So you just, and we can just, and I'll demonstrate how much more beautiful this same image, okay? So we're gonna cancel this. We'll just throw a plane in, throw this background image on the plane, and then we'll render it, okay? And then you will see that it's not the image, it's the fact that it's been stretched around this massive world, and it's just horrible. And you don't want this in the background of your image. If everything in the image is made to have all of this massive detail, and then you've got this in the background, a 24K image that is just, and you'll see this 24K image once it's, okay, we'll cancel this, all right? It looks beautiful from here. It's like, oh, yeah, that looks pretty good. Wait till we put this on a plane. So this is called what? Take a moment for this to come up. This is 24K. Now, this was probably filmed with some kind of, like, you know, $40,000 camera, okay? At least. Maybe even $100,000 for the camera. This is what we're talking about. Okay, this is called Kloppenheim. Okay, it's Kloppenheim. We'll find it. All right, so what we do is go out of Iray, and then we go here, add a plane. We go here. We just pull the plane up the way we want it to kind of be. Where is it? Z? I always do that. I end up trying to rotate this way. I just get it up there in the area I kind of want it to be. And then I know that this has got to be 90. All right, and then we push the plane back. Z, way back, like this. Behind your scene, okay? And you stretch it just enough. So we go Y, we go scale. And this is probably not enough. I would go back much further. And you have to take the shine and reflection off of it because you don't want the sun putting, you don't want your buildings and your houses putting a shadow on the wall. Okay, so you have to be far enough back that they don't create shadows on it, all that. So it's got to go way back. But that's, so don't worry. You're still going to get the detail in your scene, okay? So you bring it way back and probably even further than that, but we'll go with this, okay? And then we're going to scale it up so it fits like that. And then we'll scale it this way, X, because of course your Kloppenheim scene is going to be like, you know, 16 by 9 or maybe, you know, panoramic kind of ratio, sort of like 16 by 9 probably. So now let's go here and now go to surfaces. Find the Kloppenheim base color. It's going to be in here somewhere with the K's, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L. Okay, here's Kloppenheim. There's one. It's going to take a while to load. It's a 24K file. And that's loading from, might be loading from a, I kind of doubt it. I don't think it is. I think it's loading from a regular hard drive. So I do have all of my dad's stuff on solid state drives. A 4 terabyte solid state drive, 10,600 DAS. And I think I still have like 1.5 terabytes left over. 10,600 assets going on 10,000 on 11,000. Okay, look at the detail we have now. Okay, and we're not done. This This is just in, we got to load it here. Okay, this is just in texture shaded mode. All right, now we have some detail. It's meant, now what you can do is you could stretch, you could put this, I've tried it before, it's kind of difficult to do, but you could put this on a sphere. Just put a sphere in instead of a plane, and then the sky is going to stretch around that sphere, and you make the sphere just large enough so it's right beyond him, so it doesn't cut your cameras out and stuff. And at least it's not being stretched around this infinite plane, an infinite sphere kind of thing. All right, so now we've got this on here. We've got to turn this into an HDR. We turn the emission color on. Boom, it's now an HDR. And then we go to luminance. You put this back on, this Kloppenheim on luminance as well. So you can, if you don't put this in here, then when you turn up the luminance, it's just going to make everything whiter. And if you turn it the luminance down, it's going to make it blacker. But if you put the actual image on the luminance, then it's going to make the blue parts bluer, it's going to make the yellow parts yellower, it's going to make the white parts whiter, and it's going to make and darken the yellow parts less yellow. It's going to use the image itself as the brightener and darkener, okay? It's not going to just use a white, okay? And that's what you don't want. And so, and think of that with like fire, like a lot of the dads, like fireplaces. You buy a fireplace, and a lot of times they forget to put the fire in the fireplace on the luminance as well. And so when you go to make the fire brighter, it just gets all white and yucky looking. Well, if you take those images that are on the fire, because they are emissives, and you just put those same images on the luminance, then when you brighten your fire, it's going to get more vibrant, okay? It's not going to be all just whited out, okay? So keep that in mind as well. All right, that's another little tip, okay? It took me hours and hours to figure out, okay? So, all right. And now, okay, so we have this here. Now let's check it out in Iray. Yes, it's a different sky, but it's all of the detail of this entire image is now all the real estate of that detail is in your image. If you want to stretch it a little bit and then move it into a certain place, if you want the sun bigger, stretch it. You can actually now make the sun bigger. And, you know, it's all here now in your scene. And now render. Now let's see when we switch from the texture on his jeans to the texture behind him, suddenly we have something that is comparable and to your scene. Okay, so this is part of lighting. Okay, this is a lighting tutorial, and I hope this is helpful to your lighting endeavors. Okay, this is going to take a while to render a 24K HDRI in this, but the 230-90s, they'll cut right through this. Okay, so what we have here, look, we have something, this is going to reticulate. We've only had one iteration so far. But now look what we have for detail. This is more usable, okay, for a background, for a backdrop. Look at that. It's not that bad. It just looks like it has a tiny bit of like camera blur, like depth of field. But the more it renders, look, you got little stars, and it's still reticulating. See, this is how you do this. It's the only way to get a detailed backdrop that's gonna look right with your scene. Now, this doesn't look right. It was made for a sphere, and when you go up around his head, the swirl of the clouds, they're kind of a nice effect. but not all HDRIs have that spherical swirl. So you can pick and choose. Of course, you've got probably a bunch of HDRIs so to choose from. This was made with that sphere. Or what I do sometimes is I'll stretch the HDRI just enough to push it up, to push the HDRI up and crop off that sphere where it kind of spheres in at the top. And there you go. So this is not bad. This gives you some kind of detail in your background for a sky. And what you do is then you load the same HDR into your environment also, and then you've got a consistent HDR. Yes, it does look strange, Ted. It's much harder to use a sphere, because when you do use a sphere, then your HDR, it blocks your HDR from being able to light your scene. And then you're stuck with lighting your scene with conventional lights. And an HDR gives your scene a beautiful like gradient because the HDR is putting off, like where the sky is purple on the HDR, it's putting a purple on your scene maybe on the right hand side. And and so the sphere is going to block any use of an HDR. Okay? So like I said, use that trick that I said. Just stretch the plane enough so that you can crop out that part at the top where it bunches together. And like I said, not all HDRs have that. A lot of HDRs are not spherical. Many of them are not. But even some of them are spherical, but it's only like a thin layer at the top where they bunch it together, and it's not as much of it as this particular HDR seems to kind of envelop a whole bunch of the top. But most of them just have this little band along the top that you can take into Photoshop and paint on the clouds. You could basically with this, you can clone areas. It would be very kind of difficult in Photoshop you could clone areas and try and. But like I said, what you do, because you have so much more, you have all of the, I don't mean to holler, I just, like my voice is just jumping all around. Sorry about that. You have all of the screen real estate on that one little plane. You can stretch it a little bit and still not lose. I usually try to like crop in and get as much of that plane into the scene as I can. Now, we'll cancel this, and I'll show you that most skies we'll just try another sky, and I'll show you that most skies don't have that really massive, like I would call like a fisheye lens. Type of effect. And what you could do, okay, is you could use you could put this on a half, there are many products that sold in the DAS store that are half spheres, that's an actual object that you can place in the scene, and it's only a half of a sphere. And that would work. That would stretch this then, but I'm going to tell you right now, it's not easy lining these up on, because number one, you have to get it on the right, you have to get it on the sphere on the right side, and you have to reverse the image. You have to shrink the image and then expand it in the negative to get it up, and then usually it's upside down, and you have to rotate the sphere around. It's a lot of work to put it on a plane. You just kind of rotate the plane around or spin it around until it's done. On a sphere, you have to kind of get it just right. It's much harder. So, but what you do is you just find an object in the DAZ store that's a half shell, okay? And then you can make use of then it will curve the sky into your scene, and also it will but I don't do that. I'll show you, because most HDRs don't have this much of a most of them are mostly sky. This one has like a ton of ground in it, okay? And so we'll just go here to our plane and go to the emission color. And we'll just find another HDR, and you'll start to see that really this is the way to go. And the ground doesn't really look that, you're not going to be using this ground. You're going to be using your scene, your environment, and you're looking for the sky part. And most skies don't have this. Okay, base color. Let's go to here, browse. It just finally let me have control of this. I mean, look at these HDRs. They don't have, like, a lot of them don't have any ground, or if they do, it's just like a horizon. And so the thing is that you're gaining so much detail. Even if you zoom in like double, it's still not like, because it's like quadruple to stretch all the way around the sky. It's like, so you're still going to, and you can, just by changing the size of your plane, you can change the size of your sun or moon. By just stretching it, you got a bigger moon. And so yes, it will. Any 2D photo, because what makes an HDRI, you know, if, like, I just purchased a new camera and it takes 10-bit photos, okay? Well, that's an HDRI. HDRI is 10 bits so that when you zoom in on it, you end up with, we don't end up with that banding problem, okay? Now, one of these looks like they have a good amount of sky in them. And let's grab one of these. Okay, I think I've used those. So what makes an HDRI? It's number one, it's 10-bit, and number two, it's an emissive. Okay? It emits light. And all you have to do is put that same image in your emissive, turn your emissive from black to white, and then put it also in your luminance, and then crank up the lumens to whatever level you want it. That's an HDRI on a plane. Okay? And it will even work with 8-bit images, but HDRIs go up to 10-bit. Now, I don't know if DAZ limits. I don't think it limits the bits. Now, this looks really interesting. Okay, so we're going to load this particular sky. And you'll notice that sky had a lot of that. See, this one doesn't seem to have any of that in here. Now, I've still got the other maps in here, so we have to switch them. What's this map called? It's called DTSG2. DTSG2, okay? DTSG2, let's find this in the DTSG2. And we have this one, DTSG2. Okay, and this looks kind of dark. I think it's because of that product that set everything dark here. We're still here. We can go to the render settings. Where was that? environments. Let's bring this back to a bright environment. Okay. And now it's put some kind of light in the scene. It's done something weird to this bright. That's even brighter. Okay. Now as you notice, yes, this is the same kind of thing. Now let's just put an environment in here, okay? See, this, it looks kind of curved, but not really. Not, and you actually have some clouds in your scene. Yes, but when you change the emission color from white to a different color, it changes the entire color. I'll show you. So we have our plane here. We go into surfaces. Takes a while, and we just change the emission color. Now remember, this isn't the color. You're not putting a tint on the picture. You're putting a tint on the light that is emitted from the picture. Now when you turn it to white, everything that's like this image that's behind here, this plane, is putting off light. So it's going to backlight your scene if you turn up the luminance really high. So it is an emissive. It is an HDRI. Okay, so let's change this to like purple. Okay? And what this did, it doesn't look like it changed much, but notice now the color coming around him is purple. This is coming from the sky. Now, and it went purple because this is really where the emissive would come through. Let's go back to white. And then what we do is, I know that's not the effect you were looking for. So what we do is we go up here into base color and we make this purple. Now that's the look you were looking for. I don't know what's causing this. This is from that box light thing. Okay, it did something really weird too, and I don't know what it's doing, how it's creating all this, but it's done something weird. That's not part of the HDR, okay? So, that is maybe my environment light. We got the Infinity. Let's see, it might have been so small. Let's go to parameters. Let's go to an infinite sphere and see if that goes away. Yeah, that went away. I believe what that was a reflection on our back. Yes, but the thing is that I find that this, by changing the color here of your surface, is kind of not natural. It's not the best way to tint the sky. What would be better would be to put an HDRI into your scene that has like a gradient that will reflect onto that background sky. Like if I put a red HDRI in the scene, but it has got oranges and it's got yellows in it, they will shine onto that plane, okay, and create a more natural coloration to the sky. This just kind of makes everything purplish, and that's not really that nice of an effect. Okay, so I would leave this white, and I would color the sky with your HDRI. So we go into the HDRI here, and it's white and black. So let's just pick any HDRI. Let's go to one of these HDRIs that are still left over here. They kind of disappear after a while. Here's one. Let's see now that didn't do much. So those are those environment ones. Let's just go with this economy sky here. All right, and see what happens. Okay, see? Now this is this HDRI here, and it colored the sky, and then you can turn and rotate the dome, and you see it gives you a much more natural coloration of the sky. And you can pick any HDRI to do that. It gives you a gradient. Yeah, well, you see, it's going to do the same thing. In theory, even if you use a light purple, it's going to make the blue purplish. It's going to make all of it the same purple. But if you use an HDRI, what it's doing, then it's reflecting that HDRI. And what you want to do is when you go into your environment here, that's what it's doing. It's reflecting. Now, let's find an HDRI that has more gradient in it, like more of a where it goes from like yellow to red or something, and a nice bright sun in the center. You see, it gives it a gradient of color, like this economy sky here. You see, it gives it a more natural coloration. And so you can go dome rotation, and you see as you rotate the dome, it's still coloring it. Now there's the bright sun hitting it from the front. Yeah, it's giving it a more natural, you see. So you could say, well, I just, instead of using yellow, just get a yellow sky. If you want a light purple, get a light purple sky that has all of those light purple colors that you're looking for. And you can come in and change your environment map and bring this down to like 0.5. And so you have a little bit more, or maybe 0.8. Or 0.9. Just 1 maybe. See, like that. So my advice is to not just, yes, you can color it with just by coloring it that way. And as you notice now, when I bring this down, let's go into texture shaded mode, because these show up in texture shaded mode, your HDRs on this thing. Now notice this, the way this HDR was made, all that, okay, we got to actually click on the plane here. All that mucky kind of, that where it starts to kind of coalesce into the top, it all happens in this little band up at the top. So all you have to do is just scale this a little bit like that, and then bring it down, bring it up, and just chop that part off. And the rest of this looks fine. You see, and if you figure the HDRI is like really large. It's so large that you barely get like one cloud in your scene. Like, and so you always end up with these boring kind of, they're usually not even that nice. They're like so big that you just barely get like a cloud in the scene. You just end up with this kind of nondescript kind of sky. And that's compared to, say, this, where you go scale 0, 1, let's go 1. Oh, let's go 100. Oh yeah, I had it scaled again. I had scaled to fit the back of our scene here. So that's compared to, that's like large right there. We want it to fit the scene. And a little bit larger, so we can cut off that top part. And now this, now it goes from that to having actual clouds in the purview of your, yes, and use, yes, I highly recommend to stick with white on the base and emissions. Now the emissions you can mess with, okay? Because, but the emissions you can kind of mess with, because it's not necessarily, it may change your sun color, but it won't change this. All this color now, all this color is coming from this coloration of the sky is coming from our HDRI. But notice now what we have for sky. We actually have clouds. We have detail in our sky. It's very, very nice to have this detail. And the environment options, then and I wouldn't even necessarily change the tint of your environment, but you can come into the tint here and just, if you tint your environment map, okay, it's still going to have all those other colors, but now it's hitting that your environment with, and we'll go with a lighter purple, like this light pink, and we can yeah, that's and add a little more white to it. Yeah, so, and this is more natural than coloring the plane, okay? Because it's coloring this sky, it's giving this sky, you know, a tint, but it's still going to have some yellows and some things poking out through. But there again, it's just, again, an unnatural kind of way. Yes, you. That's the thing, is your HDRI is going to light your environment. Okay, it's going to change. So I think using your HDRI kind of as is, but picking the right HDRI, and then you don't necessarily have to mess with the white balance, because that's changing your overall. If I was going to mess with white balance, I would do that after I render it in Photoshop, okay? Tone mapper options are like they're like filters, they're like post work, okay? So I wouldn't mess with tone mapper options like kind of at all. I really wouldn't do that here. I would do that in a photo. Once you've rendered your picture, I would do all that post work like in Photoshop or something, because they're stuck. Yeah, I like this. This is very, 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 very nice. So once you put like vignetting in your picture, you're stuck with that vignetting. Once you mess with the white balance, sometimes you can't undo that, all right? So I would just try to get your image in the ballpark and do all your tone mapping stuff in a photo editing. Take your render into there and do the white balance stuff. But as in the white, changing the white, now if I want this environment map to be brighter on this sky, then I can just come in here and put a 2 in here. Okay, and now the HDRI is hitting the scene brighter. And now I think the difference between this, you see you have environment intensity and you have environment map. Now when you do this environment intensity, I believe it makes the lights in the scene, which this would be technically, theoretically considered a light, okay, because it's a light source. But this environment map, it's only affecting the HDRI, where this will, if you bring this intense environment intensity, it will bring up all your lights and make your lights more intense. All the lights, all the point lights, everything in the scene that's a light, it will bring up the intensity. But this, so if we just go 1.2, you know, it's brighter. It just brings the HDRI brighter. And so, and then just rotate the HDRI until you get it to a place. Now what we just saw here, see that right there? That is the sun on the HDRI reflecting on the plane. And the reason why it's doing that is because the plane has shine on it. You know, who would have thought that that you just put a plane in, you put this texture on it, it's going to have automatic shine built into the Iray texture. So you just go to the surface here and you turn the glossy color. You don't want your sky glossy. You don't want it, you want it matte. You just don't want your sky to be reflecting things. So you just turn the glossy to black, and that goes away. Then things aren't going to shine, that aren't going to shine on the sky. It will still be affected by your color here. All right, parameters, but it won't have that. It won't reflect that like have shiny spots. It won't be like a mirror kind of thing. Just set that shine to black, and this will still have effect on it. Like if I bring this down to 1, it's still going to shine on that sky. If I bring it down to 0.2, it's still going to shine on this. That's the environment map, and what it's doing is it's just putting less light on our plane here, all right? And then we can go into the plane surfaces, and we could bring up our luminance to like 2. It's a matter of what you want, all right? And that puts more of a thing around him like this. And so you can turn off your environment. Okay, you can just turn off the HDRI and just light the scene from behind, and which would be parameters. And we go into dome, infinite sphere, dome and scene, just scene only. And I think that this, because this is supposed to be black here, and they're doing some kind of trick with these. We go like this, maybe. Yeah. And so now it's only being lit by, okay, let's go back to the environment settings and make sure. We're going to go back to scene only. Now it's no longer being affected. Oh, I changed it to a different HDRI because I wanted something with more clouds and less of that. I wanted to show you that most HDRIs, we only had to cut off a little bit at the top here. That most HDRIs aren't that spherically shaped, okay? I'll show you here when I go here, bring this down. This only has a little area at the top. Oh gosh, I keep doing that. This only has a little area at the top where it looks spherical, okay? And so what you do is just make it a little bit bigger and cut that off. And there you go, it's gone. It's out of your scene, and you have this beautiful sky without, and it doesn't really look too spherical, okay? And because around the horizon, it's not going to be that spherical anyway. And what's really nice here is that you can take this HDR and you say, they do look good in natural, Ted. And also, let's take this scene now and just say, I want a really big sun, okay? And so we just take this, pull this over a little bit like this, okay? And we still have these beautiful clouds. You can decide how much, and now you have a big sun. And it's just as easy as. And even when we render this at like 10,000, it's still probably going to be pretty detailed compared to what it would look like with an HDRI, where you'd only get like this little teeny kind of cube behind him. And because it's so stretched that you only end up with a very small little area behind him it's so nondescript, it's so lacking in detail, it's so lacking in, and as you can see, the more I add our surfaces, the more I go into here and add luminance. Let's go to 8. The more brighter it comes behind him. You see, the more it's putting off. And that's unfortunately, now if I took this luminance out, okay, this is the difference, okay? You say none, And you see, without that image there, don't forget to put the image. You put the image, the same image in your emission color, and you put, then if I would bring this down to like 1500, you can't achieve the same effect. It's like go to like 2 maybe. Well, it's a different effect. So go to 5. Okay, so it's a different effect. 1. And then you put the luminance map in here. This was the Economy Sky 31, I think. No, that's not it. Economy Sky, was it 7? No, which one is it? 18. 17. My experience is when you put this luminance in here, it allows you to crank up this number more to get more of this effect without the sky blurring on you, okay? So, see, now I can crank it up to like 7, or let's say 6, 5. Well, now it's not very much. Let's say 3. And it just doesn't completely wash out. At least that's been my experience with this. Now it doesn't seem to be doing that. 1500. When we take this out, none. This is 17, none. It just doesn't have the pop, seem to pop, but we can bring this up then to 1. It just doesn't seem to have the same pop to it. And you notice now we don't have the same amount of luminance. Now if I put this in here, this 17 in, see how all of a sudden you get this, it seems to be the right thing to do. And so if you want to bring it, you can get more intensity out of it. Let's go down to 5,000. Yeah, he still has this really bright. It's using the map again to create the luminance rather than just white. You see, if you don't put this map in here, it's going to use white overall over the whole. That's what you're going to get for a coming back to your figure, okay? But if you put this in here, then it's using this map as that color instead of the white. And the white just becomes a toggle to turn luminance on, but this is the actual base of that luminance. So it's laying the luminance. So you over here, you'd get more of a blue coming from him. If I move this over, this map over, you'd get this kind of light. But if you don't have this luminance here, if I moved it over, it'd be the same white everywhere. So that's how I understand this. So, yeah, this is all stuff about lighting. I think I'm going to keep up the cutout opacity. Just makes things transparent so you can see through them, okay? And what it also does is most things when you use the cutout opacity, it just makes it more invisible or visible. All the way over, it's visible. All the way to the left, it's invisible. But it has one hidden little secret thing, okay? And that is if you take like this is a color map here, and I'm not saying that to be simplified or anything, but I'm pointing out that this is a color map, that this is a color image, right? Exactly, right? If I took this image into Photoshop and I just used the Photoshop tools to turn that into a black and white image, and then I said, okay, the white parts I want pure white, and the black parts I want pure black. So you kind of like adjust this histogram kind of thing and adjust the curves to make the white parts as white as possible and the black parts of the image as black as possible. So you have like a perfectly black and white image of this color image, okay? Then you bring it in and you load it into your cutout opacity here. You bring it in and browse and load it in there of the same exact image, but it's black and white. Then when you bring down your opacity, the black parts of the image will be the part that's see-through, and the white parts will remain opaque, will remain the color of. And so that's how you make all those transparencies that you see, all those magic, like you load a plane into your scene and it's got like these magical symbols, but the rest of it, because you can't just load like a transparent PNG in here. It won't work. You have to take the same image. It's kind of simple. You just take this same image and you make it black and white and you load it into Cutout, all right, into the Cutout here, somewhere in here. I can't seem to see it now. Right here. You load it into your Cutout opacity, and when you bring this down like this, the Cutout, well, you leave it up all the way, and the black part, everything that's black will be transparent. And everything's so all this would be transparent in here, and slowly it would become, if there's, the lighter it becomes, the more. But if you think about something that's like a symbol, like say a peace sign, okay? You know, where that old hippie peace sign, okay? It's just like, and you think it's like red, okay? Let's just pick, or black. No, black is not necessarily the best color. Like say it's red, okay? That peace sign is red. Well, you make that peace sign, and you put it on a black background, and then you make it black and white. Well, that red is going to, what you do is you make the red part so it's white in the black and white. So it's as white, and you make the black part around it black as black. And then when you load that into here as a cutout, and you have it at 100%, only the white part will show on the peace sign. And so the black part will be transparent. So cutout opacity has two things. It can just make something, if I just select Nathan here and go, I'd have to select the surface on him. But I could make something, just the plane in the background. We just go with this and it's gone. The plane's gone. All right, it's simple in that aspect, where the cutout opacity just turns something on or off. It makes it invisible, or halfway invisible, partially invisible. So if I had something behind that, you could see it about now. You'd start seeing through that sky to something. And when it's turned off, it's also no longer putting out it's no longer putting. Yes, that's the same thing. You can, and that's because of that other aspect that cutout opacity has. And that is the ability to have cutout opacity make transparencies, okay? And so what it's doing is, the more you bring the cutout opacity down, it's cutting into the hair and making it finer, Okay, it's cutting around the edge of the hair and encroaching in on the hair and making it the black even the border around what's visible in the transparency thinner and thinner and thinner. And it works wonderful with hair. So it's not just making the hair like invisible, it's making the edge around the hair, it's cropping that edge more and more and more. So yeah, cutout opacity has two aspects to it. One is where you can just turn something like the sky in the background on or off. And the other one is if you load a black and white image of anything, of the same thing, you have to have the same thing here in the base color, and then you just load the black and white image, play with it, and you'll see. And especially, it works especially with something that is like line art, like something like this. And what you would want to do is this part of the image you would want white, because you'd want this line to show up. And then all the rest of the image you would want black. And you load that in, and then all this black line will show up in your scene, because it works with black also. But you would want this part of the image to be white, because that's what shows through. And then the rest you'd want black for the transparency that goes in the cutout, okay? And all you have to do is just make sure that this part is white and the back is black, and the part that's invisible that you're going to see through is black. Don't worry about this image. This image would go in the base, okay? The white and black, and so that the black is going to be the part, it'll be black in your image, all right? But this would go on the base, but the one that would go on the cutout would be the reverse of this, and these part would be white. And you'd set it at 100%, and it works like magic. All of a sudden, you just have a black. This would show up in your scene, and you could put this on a plane. That's what you do, is you put it on a plane, so that you have, and that's what most of those magic effects are. They're a plane that you put in the scene, and you set it in the scene, and they call them transparencies, but that's how those transparencies are made. So these last few scenes, if you notice, I'm not focusing on just like putting out, and I think the next tutorial will be the same. The next few tutorials are going to be kind of like question and answer things, where you can come in and you can ask about things, and I'm not necessarily going to be just making a scene in the tutorial. I'm going to be letting you guys talk about things that and I got started on lighting. I'm going to probably try to focus on lighting. The next scene, the next tutorial is also going to be on lighting, and we're going to go, and I'm just going to we're going to go into noir lighting, okay, and some noir effects. I don't think I'm going to do that in this tutorial. I've been 3 hours and 14 minutes so far. My camera's still running, and it's recording me in 4K. So we're going to go into noir lighting. We're also going to maybe we'll go into transparencies again, okay? Because transparencies can also be emissives, and they can put off light. You just have to turn it into an emissive, and the invisible part won't put off light because it's invisible. But the visible part will, unless it's black, but if it's red, or if it's line art that's red or yellow or anything, or green, it can put off light, red, any color, blue. And then there are also some other lighting things. There's a lot of different kinds of, ghost lights. We've got ghost lights, and we have gobo lights, okay? We have lights that shine patterns. I've done stuff on them, but we'll be talking about that briefly in this as well. So it's basically make a list and ask me about lighting. Ask me things that you want to understand about lighting, and that's what we'll be doing, okay? Watch the last video. If you want to get caught up, the last video that I made, it's got a dragon picture on it. Awesome, Her Majesty EZ3DTV is dope. Awesome. It's nice to have you here. Thank you for coming in. And yeah, we all started, and you will become very, very, very good at DAZ. So, and I hope my tutorials help with that. Okay, don't be afraid to experiment with DAZ, because you'll find all kinds of cool stuff to learn, and you'll learn it. The DAZ forums are a good place to ask questions. Also, you can ask questions. I read every single one of my the comments you leave. I read them all. So I'm going to be coming back with another lighting tutorial. And I don't know that I'm going to save this one. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to go open recent, and I'm going to open the Nathan in the Light 2. This one is the one that I kind of wanted to save. I mean, this is kind of cool, but it's not safe. What you want to do now is, once you have your background, your very detailed background, that's when you put your environment in, your scene, some kind of road here, all kinds of stuff. And this is going to be your background. So come in and watch the last tutorial. It's a couple of hours long. But Habib was the one who got me into lighting, onto the subject of lighting. And I'm going to continue this subject of lighting because I'm learning as I go through. It's just, it reaffirms what I've learned, and kind of seats it back better into my head. And I just learned a ton about rim lighting. I very rarely think about rim lighting and use rim lighting. I will say that because you turn this background into a very detailed light, I mean, literally we've turned this into a mesh light, and it's a very detailed mesh light, that it is going to tax your system when it renders. It can take, what normally would take maybe 2,000 iterations to make a really nice, like maybe even 4K image, might take up to 6,000. Like this right now. This is a plane here with an HDRI sky on it, and this is now I think we have these rim lights, rim. So yeah, what you want to do is put stuff in the comments about that you'd like to have me cover. And thank you very much, Her Majesty, for saying hi and hanging out with us, and for the very nice comment that you've left. Thank you very kindly. So I'm going to see if I can find a rim light. We're going to put an artificial rim. I don't want to change this color here, because if I add more illums to this background and turn it into a rim light, we're going to lose all these deep and kind of mysterious colors here. So what I'm going to do is we'll go into lights here again. Light sets, I think it is. I think it's this rim light product. I might be Yeah, this light plane. Let's try this one. It's not lighting him. Use draw style with wire texture shaded. Oh, that's interesting. So we go here, wire texture shaded. Let's see what we can actually see the planes. Yeah. Okay, my camera is, let's go to the perspective view here. Oh, okay, what we're seeing is the wire of the okay, so that's the ghost light. Okay. Oh, these are the planes. These little things, those are the little planes that are, okay, go back to our camera view. Okay, so we can see the planes that are pointing at him. I assume we could select each plane. Yeah, and we can re-angle them at him, but let's, this rim light doesn't seem to, let's go back into Iray. Render settings. Okay, we're not going to turn bloom on. Okay, spotlights. Light plane. What are these? Oh, these are actual spotlights on the rim. I think we're going to try something like this. Let's try this. Okay, there we go. Now see this? Now it put these little dots in here, and I believe there's a way now to hide them, but I'm not sure. Z, let's try a different one. This is probably this is called rim light rig. Z, you can change the colors, but I don't know if I want to change it. I'm on six spotlights. Now that it's hidden, okay? So we see all of this here, but these little dots will be still there, but they're okay, I guess. We could move the rim light so at least this little dot's kind of in the center, I think. That'd be nice. Z, let's try just the red one. All right, and now we'll take this rim light here and we move it over a little bit so we can kind of center it more to his. Okay. So it gives the impression that that is coming from, let me move it a little closer maybe. Which way is closer? Okay, there must be some way of like lowering the intensities. Okay. What if we just do this? Okay, this is a backlight, red backlight. That didn't work. Lights. Okay, sunset. Delete this. Sunset. I kind of like that. It's a little more natural, and we move, select the rim light. Yeah, so now there's a way, I don't think there's a way with spotlights, but there is a way. Now we take the rim light here. Let's try this with, there is these light planes. They're like little planes. There's a way to make them so they don't reflect on the floor, and that's why you don't see these. They don't seem to be working for some reason. I'm not seeing anything, any kind of light rim on him at all. What happens? Frame. That's light sets. Backlight. Backlight yellow, backlight reduce transparency. Okay, so let's look at these planes and see what happens when we go to the surfaces, I guess it would be. Yeah. Emission color. Let's bring up the emission, the luminance. Let's just put a 9 in this. I don't think these are working. I think something that's been set in the settings, because I have the environment options turned off, I think. Scene only. Oh, they're set to dome and scene. Infinite sphere. What if we turn this to scene only? Because I really don't need that on, but this one's just not working. Rim light rig. Go back here. Light spectrum. Okay, that's a light plane again. Light pointers. Okay, I think this is this is the other light that I have here. The light box? No, these light pointers. What happens when I delete that? That's still him. Okay. Light plane. Oh, that must have been this other light that I put in. There was something here. Light sets. These backlights, maybe. Some kind of thing here. So the light rig, what I'd have to do is like start a scene from scratch and then do something with that, this spotlights, because I think all of this light stuff that I've done has gone in and changed the way the environment options work. And so now this is no longer working. But these spotlights I think they're just a little bit too bright. And they create these little, that's what bothers me the most about it, is these little spots on the floor. I don't really like those. But they're okay. So let's do a render with this. Render settings. And we'll go to, let's say, 2000. Make sure these are all the way up. See, it's changed this too. See, it's normally you just move it all the way to the left. Now it's actually got some kind of number. You have to keep just going up. That's really strange. That something changes the actual way the program reacts. Maximum samples, you just usually drag it all the way up, and now it's like a number. So something has changed. Used old environment settings and literally replaced them, and so what that's done is changed other stuff here. Optimization, filtering. And that is filtering here. Firefly, that's usually on. I don't see anything else that's the tone mapping. Environment. Okay, these are some of the basic environment settings. Light intensity, all this is good. So let's do a quick render, see what this looks like. Thank you very much for the likes, people. The likes on this video, it helps me in the algorithm so that YouTube invites more wonderful people like you, and then you can all kind of chat eventually and share share stuff, opinions and things, and tips while we're working away at this. So this again is an HDRI plane, even though this is called an Infinity Cove. It's a plane that bends and goes in under his feet. Now what I have to do, I have to cancel this first before I do a final render. I have to go in and look at the parameter perspective view and click on his feet. And I got to make sure his feet aren't going through the floor. Okay, this is foot number 1. I go out of Iray. Control L sometimes works, puts the light on. It's not helping that much. But let's turn this to rotate. A little more. I can't really see. No, it's still buried. I got to straighten that foot out before I can do anything. Let's see if I can do this with these parameter buttons. This would be bend. Okay, that goes that way. Okay, what I'm going to just do is make sure that I have it kind of flattened out. And then we'll move this Infinity Cove down a little bit. As this isn't good, you see, we've got to go and twist it, I think, this way. And then we got his toe here. We got to bend his toe down a little bit. That's not working too well. We're going to leave that. All right, now go to this foot. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to bend it up. And then we're going to look inside and see if it's kind of twisted from side to side. And it is here. We're going to go from side to side, I think, or this would be the twist. All right, there we go. Okay, now we're going to take the Infinity Cove. Y translate. I think that did it. Yeah, it looks like he's standing on there properly. Close enough. Yeah, that looks good. A lot better than it did. Now this twist, we can put a little bit of a twist in his, I think this way. I always get it the wrong way. And then this one here. Okay. And bend this one down a little bit. That's up.